Hi everybody, so this is a video on how to plug the quadratic formula into your calculator. Now I'm sorry that my calculator isn't exactly what you have, but at least the buttons are in the same place, so hopefully this will give you a good idea of how you're supposed to plug the quadratic formula into your calculator. Okay, so one of the biggest things, biggest takeaways I should say, that you should have gotten from watching the note video is that there is a plus and minus sign inside of your formula, and that needs to be plugged into your calculator in two separate inputs. The other big takeaway from the plugging in portion of the notes is that when you plug in the quadratic formula, need to plug in the top first, then divide by the bottom. Okay, it's like 4 different things you're technically plugging in for every single example. All right, so what I'm going to go over with you is that first example on the week 10 notes, which is question 336. So again, you should have already watched the video first for the notes. If you're having a hard time plugging it in your calculator, this video is for you. Okay, so you're not going to type in the x equals. That's just going to come down in your next step in your notes. So the next thing I see when I read over what I plugged in when I plugged in my A, B, and C is a 14. So I'm going to type in 14. Okay. Now, I remember I have to plug it in with a plus and a minus separately, so I'm going to do plus first. And now I need to get that square root symbol. So to get the square root symbol, you're going to press the second on the top left of the calculator. And then you're going to press the x squared button near the 7. You don't hold them, you just hit second, x squared, and that'll get you a big square root symbol. Now, if you have the TI-84 version of the calculator, you're going to look exactly like mine looks right now, where it doesn't give you a parentheses or anything. So if you have the TI-84 calculator, follow along with me right now. My TI-83 calculator people, I'll show you what yours will look like in just a couple of minutes. Okay, so I'm going to keep typing it in exactly how I see it. So the next thing under the square root on my notes is a parentheses. So I have to hit that open parenthesis, then type in negative 14 and I close my parenthesis. And then I hit that x squared button again. It'll just give me a squared. Okay, the x is like null and void. It's just the squared. Then I have minus 4 times 2 times 20. So again, my 84 people. You just typed in the whole top of the calculator with a plus sign. I'm ready to press enter. Then divided by 4, enter. One of your answers was 5. So now I have to do that exact same thing again, but now plugging it in with a minus. So I start from the beginning, 14 minus. Get that square root again by hitting second x squared. So second x squared. And then type in the whole thing underneath. Again, this is for my 84 calculator people. So parentheses, negative 14 squared minus 4 times 2 times 20. Hit enter because I've typed in the whole top. Once you have that answer, you just hit divided by 4, enter. So your final answers are 5 and 2. Now something I'd like to show you just while I have you here. If you typed in that whole top, and I just copied and pasted it real quick, and then tried to type in divided by 4 all in the first step, remember with this minus, you're supposed to get an answer of 2. But if you try to type it in all at once, you get the wrong answer. 12.5 was clearly not the answer. Our answers were 5 and 2. So that's why you can't plug it in all at once. You plug in the top first, then press enter, then you type in the bottom. All right, for my TI-83 calculator people, here's what you're gonna see. So when you type it in, like we were saying, you hit 14 plus to start. Then you need to hit the square root. So square root, again, is when you hit second x squared. So second is on the top left of your calculator. X squared is by the 7. And here's what you're seeing right now. So you type in 14 plus the square root, and it gives you an open parentheses. Ignore it. I can't stress enough for you how much you need to just ignore that being there. It's not the parentheses that you need to type in. Like I said in the notes, you type in everything you see. So the next thing I see is an open parentheses. So that's what I'm going to type in. So it looks like double. Don't worry about that first one. So I now type in negative 14, close my parentheses, squared. Okay, minus 4 times 2 times 20. And even though you have a different calculator, at this point, because I had the open parentheses in the very beginning, you just want to close those. For every open parenthesis, you should have a closed parenthesis. So it's really no different. You still type in the whole top, you still type, you press enter, and then you divide by the bottom. The only difference that you have here is that it gives you the open parenthesis to start, and you can't use it for your negative 14. You're going to look like this, and that'll get you that same 20, and then you divide by 4. And get your answer. Okay, we're doing that exact same thing with the minus. You're going to type in the 14 minus, get that square root again, and yours has that open parentheses there already. So you type in negative, or parentheses, negative 14, close your parentheses, squared. You're at that point where you're just typing in exactly what you see. Okay, minus 4 times 2 times 20. Since that's the whole numerator, you now press enter. And then divide it by 4, enter. And you end up with that same answer. So while I have this video up, there's just one more thing that I want to show you guys, and it's that double negative idea. So again, hopefully you already watched the notes and then you're watching this. But in the formula, because it starts with x equals negative b, and b can be negative, sometimes you get that negative negative. In this example, the first one in week 10 notes actually had a negative negative, and we knew to cancel it out to make it that positive 14 that we started with. If you don't want to remember that, you can type it in with a negative negative. So I'll show you that really quick. You would just type in negative negative 14. I'm going to do plus. Get that square root in there. And I'm going to plug it in like I have the 84, but you 83 people will have to plug in that extra parenthesis. So parenthesis negative 14 squared minus 4 times 2 times 20. Again, we're not typing in anything differently right now other than the negative negative in the beginning, just to show you that it won't make a difference in your calculator. I press enter now. That's the 20 that we got before, divided by 4 equals 5. So if you don't remember that negative negative cancels out, just type it in your calculator. Be sure that when you're hitting a negative symbol, it's not the minus. This is negative. Minus is over there by the plus, minus, times, and divide. Make sure you know the difference between the two. I hope that video helped you guys plug it in your calculator. If not, please reach out to me during office hours or just send me an email, and I'm more than happy to help you out. Good luck.